Hi everybody, Sarah here. This is Overkill Reviews, which is Banger's weekly heavy metal review show. And I promised you I was going to be on the channel a lot this month, so here I am. And today I'm talking about a genre that I rarely discuss on Banger, which is stoner rock, stoner doom. This week, I am reviewing the third studio album from an emerging band hailing from London, England. This band has similarities sonically to projects like Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats and Elder, and they are signed to NuclearB and they like organs. That song is called One for Sorrow, and it is by the band Green Lung, and it is from their third studio album, This Heathen Land, which is out now via NuclearB, and in my humble opinion, it is the best song on the album. Green Lung formed in 2017 in London, England, and quickly gained notoriety for their retro occult stoner doom rock pagan forest worship style. The name, it's a double entendre. They probably like weed, but green lungs, forest lungs of the earth. I think this makes sense. Their debut, Woodland Rights, was released in 2019 via Cosmic Artifacts, which is the small label in Germany. It was then repressed by Svart Records, who then scooped up the fast ascending band for 2021's Black Harvest. Clearly, the band is making waves as they jump to NuclearB already for this third album, which follows in the same style, but amps up the organ, emotional dynamics, and classic rock to bombastic impact. I have wanted to like Green Lung for a really long time, as friends and the industry were repping them hard, but I kept trying to listen to them and just found myself getting bored. And unfortunately to me, it's because stoner doom can be a really one-trick pony, and the genre really burnt out around 2008 max. Bell bottoms, orange ants, electric wizard ripoff whiffs, LOL weed, I get it, you like getting high. But don't get me wrong, there are a handful of newer bands in that style who've really worked on standing out and doing something interesting within the genre realms. You know, Elder comes to mind, but those bands are unfortunately extremely few and far between. Odin! Oh, he's really screaming today. Now for the butt. Throughout their three albums, Green Lung has actually worked on infusing their own twists on the style and integrating more dynamics. While their debut, Woodland Rights, was very much Proceed the Weedian Nazareth, their second album, Black Harvest, showed signs of becoming more dynamic with better sonic and emotional variants in the tracks. I think this can be strongly attributed to allowing organist John Wright to really explore and become a central part of the band's sound. And this is wise because organs rule, Deep Purple rules, Uriah Heep rules. And it also gives Green Lung songs extra oomph to use keyboards like a full other instrument with its own emotional variants.
How could less be more? It's impossible. More is more.
As a result of using even more organ on This Heathen Land, everything sounds more powerful, more dynamic, and more fleshed out. There's more ripping instrumental sections, more organs, more dynamics, and I strongly suspect that this is because of ample live shows, which undeniably helps bands get way tighter and better at songwriting. And also, I think this is courtesy of the explosion in interest in the band, because you tend to work even harder on things when you get really positive feedback, and it shows on this record that Green Lung is riding a high. I'm really hoping this isn't getting picked up by the mic because he howls like a howler monkey at night. I have to believe what is making Green Lung sound more dynamic is either a bigger studio budget or a longer time in the studio, because they're really focusing on rocking out, and there's this focus on studio big production dad rock going on here. I'm hearing an infusion of Rainbow, of Uriah Heep, of Deep Purple, and of Rush. And on that note, vocalist Tom is actually leaning more into his nasally register on this record, and you can tell that the vocal harmonies are double tracked, giving Tom more of a pagan altar witchfinder general Geddy Lee of Rush, even occasionally sounding like Jason Tarpey of Eternal Champion vibe. Then you've got the additional emphasis on backing vocal lines and using organs to make the vocals sound even more dynamic, because the organs are often either accompanying or accenting the vocal lines. You can hear the types of effects that I'm referring to in the chorus of Ancient Ways. You can hear it. And here's another great example of that thing happening on the song Hunters in the Sky. Focusing on these kinds of details gives bands more oomph. It sounds good. I've mentioned Rainbow multiple times in this review. There's a reason why. It's because I love Rainbow, and any band that makes me think of classic Rainbow is gonna get extra points in my books. Let's listen to the track Song of Stones, which has big Temple of the King vibes, aka melancholic, nice emotional variance and variety and speed up throughout the album, making it more dynamic. Here we are.
All around me they stood, tall and lost grown. It was then that I knew I was not alone. One ancient power was calling me home. Stood inside the circle, heard the song of the school.
One day in the year of the fox came a time remembered well, when the strong young man of the rising sun heard the tolling of the great black bell. Yeah, it's got that same. One day in the year of the fox came a time remembered well. Obviously, the Green Lung version is more echoey, a little more likely double tracked, but oh yeah, that's got Rainbow vibes. Temple of the King vibes. It's good. That's nice. What does this all mean for a verdict? I think I kind of made it clear that I went into this review assuming I wouldn't like this album, but hoping that I would like this album. And I'm glad that I gave the band another chance, because they've added more tools to their arsenal. They're more dynamic songwriters. And I'm now genuinely impressed by this Heathen Land. And I can clearly track Green Lung's musical evolution. I would personally prefer that certain things like that cliche stoner guitar crunch were less frequently used, but I understand that that's a genre benchmark and it isn't factoring into my final score of the record, just because that's a personal preference thing and it's not indicative of quality. Anyways, this is the thing about internalized prejudices against genres. They stifle band discovery as a music listener, and they also stifle giving a band more chances. And if you think about metal genres that have kind of come and gone, or in the process of coming and going, things like flip hat, pizza thrash, retro stoner doom, old school death metal, the new wave of traditional heavy metal, all of these genres have or will drop down in interest due to too many bands flooding into them. But the strong, good songwriters that break through the noise and evolve and put emphasis on growth and consistency will not only survive, but they will thrive. And Green Lung, to me, is a testament to that. Good songwriters are good songwriters. For all those reasons, this Heathen Land, but include the entire title, which I have not said this entire review. This Heathen Land, A Journey into Occult Albion, is getting 4 skulls out of 5 here on Overkill Reviews. It's time for the shoutouts. I love shoutouts. These are truly spectacular albums that have just been released, and I'm quite excited about them both, so I'm going to talk about them for longer periods. First up, do you remember Marthe? I featured her debut EP, Sisters of Darkness, via Cassette Cult years ago.
Marthe, she makes punky, noisy, sludgy, occult horror doom that sounds equally inspired by Sisters of Mercy and Bathory. It's really unusual, excellent stuff that draws you in.
So I featured her right after her debut cassette had been picked up for another press via underground metal label Caligari Records. Her notoriety continued to grow, and that eventually snowballed into a record deal with none other than Southern Lord. And I am so proud of her. As of last week, she released her debut album, Further in Evil, and it lives up to the promise of her cassette. This one is definitely going to hit my best albums of 2023 list. You can grab that record on Bandcamp or wherever Southern Lord records are sold. Next up, highlighting a band that I've been following for many years. That band is Thronehammer. The German and British band play doom, but it's doom with a lot of death metal, but don't mistake that for death doom. It's just heavy, ponderous, slow, aggressive doom with lots of growls and screams and clean sections provided by vocalist Kat, who has an incredibly dynamic vocal range. I love her. Their emphasis is on slow, low, long records. Thronehammer's third studio album, Kingslayer, is out today via Supreme Chaos Records. You can grab that one over on Bandcamp. Okay, that's it. That's all. Thanks for watching. I will be back again soon. Rakastan heavy metally.